Hi everybody, I'm Miss McAllister and I'm one of the counselors here at Allatoona, and I am here to give you some information and some resources that you will need to help you plan for your future. The first thing I want to do today is to tell you who your school counselor is so that you can figure out who to reach out to if you need help or have any questions. So if your last name begins with the letters A through D, Miss Neely is your counselor. If your last name begins with the letters E through K, Ms. Rohrbach is your counselor. If your last name begins with the letters L through RI, Mrs. Turner and Mrs. Welch both job share, and there's always one of them around, and they will be your counselor. If your last name begins with the letters RO through Z, then that's me. I'm Miss McAllister, and I am your counselor. And we try to stay with you for all the years that you're in high school, so you get to know us and you don't have to tell your story to new people every year. So please feel free to reach out to us. You see our email addresses there. That is the best way to get a hold of us, and we are happy to help you in whatever way we can. If you are coming back to school, and you see us, if you're coming back face-to-face, and you come to see us, the first person you might see is Mrs. Rich. So she's the picture on the lower right there. She is our counseling clerk, and she handles records, and she helps us with all kinds of stuff, and she's very nice. So you might also see her if you come into the counseling office. What are some reasons that you might see a counselor? Well, academic, that could be a lot of different things. It could be that you're struggling in a class, you're having trouble with a teacher, you're trying to figure out some better study habits, or you're trying to figure out which classes you should take, or you have a question about your schedule. All of those are good reasons to come and talk to your counselor or email your counselor. Social emotional, that pretty much means anything in your life. So anything that's going on with you with relationships with people, yeah, it could be family, that could be friends, it could be anybody, or things that are going on with you, or you're just kind of not feeling yourself, or you want some help to feel better, or something's happened and you need to talk about it. You can talk to us about any of those things, or you're having a lot of stress, you can talk to us about that. Or careers. So if you're trying to figure out what you might want to be when you grow up, which is something we're going to talk about today, and you're trying to figure out what kind of coursework or what kind of opportunities you should try to get access to in order to have those opportunities to get your dream job, that would be another really good reason to talk to your counselor. How can you talk to your counselor? So while we are remote, the best way to talk to us is definitely to email us. And you saw in the previous slide our email addresses. You can also find those on the Allatoona counseling page. So that would be if you go to the Allatoona website, and then under menu on the upper left, if you click on menu, then click on about, then click on counseling, you'll get to the counseling page. You can also find us on the faculty email. We are on that list as well, or you can just go back to that previous slide. When we go back to having some students in person, some of you guys will still be remote, and we will always be happy to Zoom with you if you want. We can have an individual Zoom meeting anytime you want. Well, maybe not anytime you want, but as you know, we'll try to do that as timely as possible, just depending on what's going on. But we are always glad to do that. If you are face-to-face, we're trying to figure out how that's going to work in our office, so more information will be coming about that. But for now, definitely email us if you need something. We would be glad to help you. Confidentiality. So this is something that you've probably heard us talk about before because we talk about it every year. And what it means is what you say to your counselor stays with your counselor. So what you say to us is confidential. We keep it private. The only time that there may be exceptions to that rule is if we are afraid you are in danger. So if we are afraid you're going to hurt yourself or someone else is going to physically injure you, then we have to tell your parent or guardian because our priority is to keep you safe. So just remember that's the one exception. And the other exception would be if we have a conversation and we decide together, you and us, that it would be a good idea for us to tell someone, then we might tell someone, but that's up to you to give us permission to do that. So again, if we're afraid you're in danger, we're always going to need to tell a parent or guardian. Or if you and us decide together, then we might tell somebody with your permission. Please know that if you ever have a friend that you're worried about, you can always talk to us about that too, and we'll see what we can do to help. So our essential question for today is, how do I plan for my future? Our goal for you coming out of today's lesson is that you start to do some research so that you have some thoughts of what you might want to do and that you have some knowledge of how to set yourself up so that when you leave Allatoona at the end of 12th grade, you have as many opportunities as possible and you get to make the choice of which of those opportunities you go with. In order to reach that goal, here are the different things we're going to cover. We're going to talk about graduation requirements, where you stand with those just to get out of high school. Reading your transcript, so we're going to talk a little bit about transcripts, and hopefully you guys all have a copy of your transcript. Knowing your HOPE status, the HOPE scholarship, and HOPE reports and how to read them. Dual enrollment, so just talking about that opportunity to go to a 2-year or a 4-year college while you're still in high school. And then another introduction to NAVIANCE. So we talked to you guys about NAVIANCE last year in the 9th grade lesson, but we're going to look at it again today, and we're going to get you guys started doing a career interest profiler that will hopefully help you to see how your interests and some things about your personality relate to careers. First, let's talk about graduation requirements and whether you're on track to graduate. So here are the graduation requirements in order to get a high school diploma in the state of Georgia. So you need 4 English classes. So far you guys have taken 9th Lit, and this year you will be in World Lit. Next year you'll take either American Lit or AP Lang, and then in your senior year you will probably take British Lit or AP Lit. Those would be your 4 English credits. 4 math. So some people might have Algebra Foundations as a math credit, but typically people get Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then 1 math beyond Algebra 2 in order to be ready to graduate from high school. Science. You'll need 4 science credits. 1 of them has to be biology. 1 of them has to be either earth systems or environmental science or chemistry. 1 of them has to be some type of physics, and then your 4th science can be whatever you want it to be. Social studies. You guys are going to take world history this year. That is one of your social studies requirements. Then you also need U.S. history and economics and U.S. government. That adds up to 3 credits. Economics is a 9-week course and U.S. government is a 9-week course. You're going to take those as a senior, and they work the way health and personal fitness did, where in 1 semester you'll have 9 weeks of economics and 9 weeks of U.S. government. So in total, just to recap, that's world history, U.S. history, and then economics and government as a senior. Health and personal fitness. So I just was talking about them. That's a half a credit of health and a half a credit of personal fitness. And together they make 1 total credit, and you have to have that by the time of graduation. The only exception to that would be if you are a JROTC student. If you take 3 semesters of JROTC, then that will also fulfill your health and personal fitness requirement because that curriculum is covered in JROTC. So again, you have to take 3 semesters of JROTC in order to cover that health and personal fitness requirement. And then this next requirement sometimes confuses people: career tech and or fine arts and or world language. So you can take 3 credits in any combination in any of those areas. Career tech would be health science or culinary arts or business or digital technology or computers or teaching profession courses, culinary, if I didn't already say that. All of those things are career tech classes. Fine arts would be visual art comprehensive or any of those visual arts classes. Theater, chorus, band, or orchestra all fall into the fine arts area. And then world language at Allatoona, we teach Spanish, French, and Latin. So it could be any of those in any combination. Again, 3 credits in any combination. So a lot of people get confused about this because they think that world languages are required in order to graduate from high school, but that is not the case. You just have to have 3 credits in any one of these areas, career tech or fine arts or world language. And also please include in that JROTC, because I forgot that is also a career tech class. So you do not need those to be world language classes. What you do need world language for is to go to a 4-year college. So if your dream is to right away go to a 4-year college like Kennesaw State or Georgia Southern or UGA or North Georgia or any of those other places, then you have to have level 1 and level 2 of a world language in order to gain admission to a 4-year college. So again, it is not a graduation requirement for high school. It is a requirement in order to get into a 4-year school. So far we've talked about 19 credits here. The other 4 can be anything you want them to be. They can be weight training, they can be geometry support, they can be anything. 4 additional electives to total 23 credits. That is what you need in order to get a high school diploma in the state of Georgia. Remember that as a student at Allatoona, you can earn 8 credits per year because you have 4 credits each semester times 2 semesters equals 8 credits per year. So in total, 8 credits times 4 years equals 32 credits. You could earn 32 credits. 23 credits are required for graduation. So you really have plenty of room in order to meet those graduation requirements. Now let's talk about promotion requirements. So to go from 10th to 11th grade, you need a total of 10 credits. So between 9th and 10th grade, you need to have earned a total of 10 credits. 2 of those credits must be in English. 2 of those credits must be in math. 2 of those credits must be in science. And then another 4 credits in any area for a total of 10 credits. That's what you're going to need to be promoted to 11th grade. If you do not have those specific 10 credits, then you're going to have to repeat or retake whatever it is that you didn't yet earn, and next year you're going to be in a 10th grade homeroom. So we really want you to try to get those 10 credits and make sure that you pass your English, math, and science classes this year. Transcripts and hope. So now we're going to talk about transcripts. We're going to start off by talking about your Cobb County transcript. Hopefully you have your Cobb County transcript. We sent them out to all 10th graders in the mail about a week ago, which was around October 9th. So if you can, go back and look through your mail to see if you've received that document. If you have not received that document, then your parents can email your counselors and we can figure out how to get it to you. But we want you to be looking at that Cobb County transcript. So the Cobb County transcript looks like this. It has a C up here. And when you look at it, you'll see in that upper left-hand corner that it also has your personal information. So it has your name and your address. In the middle of that transcript, you're going to see your Cobb County ID number and your state ID number. Sometimes transcripts also have social security numbers on them. So you have to be very careful because you don't want to leave that transcript lying around so that people can just come and steal your identity. It's very important that you're careful with your transcript anytime you get a copy of it. On the upper right-hand portion of your transcript, you will see credits earned and attempted. So credits earned would be all of the classes, all of the high school classes that you've ever taken. That column will include high school credits that you earned in middle school. So when you look at that number, if your credits earned are more than your credits attempted, that might confuse you a little bit, but that would be because you took a high school credit-bearing class while you were in middle school. So you earned the credit, but you didn't attempt it in high school. That's why those numbers are different. If you see that you have more credits attempted than credits earned, that means that you may have failed a class somewhere along the way. If you have any questions about that, definitely contact your counselor. You'll also see in the middle of your transcript is your attendance information. So that would be your attendance totals from every year. So at the end of the year, your attendance total goes onto that transcript. And if you look in the grade portion of your transcript, so that would be below all of that personal information, you'll see that there's a column in the middle that says EOC, and that is where you're going to see EOC scores for any classes that you took an EOC for. Now, when you look at your transcript, you're going to notice that there are some classes that have IP next to them instead of a grade. That IP stands for in progress, meaning that you haven't finished the course yet. So when you're looking at a transcript, remember that the only grades you're going to see on there are the ones that you've actually already earned after the grade is finalized. You never have grades on your transcript that you're in the middle of earning. It's only final grades that go on that transcript, and that transcript is what's going to get sent to colleges when you ask us to send your transcripts as a senior. So now, take a minute, please, and maybe pause the slide. Take out that transcript that you hopefully got in the mail. I don't believe that transcript has a Social Security number on it, but if you do have a transcript that has a Social Security number on it, please check to see if it has a 999 number. If that Social Security number begins with 999, it means that we've never gotten a Social Security card for you, so please contact your counselor and send in a copy of your Social Security card so that we can put that Social Security number in. That becomes important because in order to access the Hope Scholarship money, you need to have that Social Security number on file so that we can upload it to the Georgia Student Finance Commission. Next thing on the slide, circle your GPAs. So we want you to see the different GPAs that you have on your transcript. There is a weighted GPA and an unweighted GPA. The weighted GPA gives you extra points for any honors or AP classes. The unweighted GPA is just on a 4-point scale. We want you to draw a square around the number of credits that you've earned. Verify that everything that should be on your transcript is on your transcript. And if you have any questions about that, again, contact your counselor. Underline your EOC scores if you can see some on there, and then go to the middle and put a star or an asterisk next to your attendance information so you can see where to find that. And this again is just to kind of familiarize you with where to find these things on your transcript so that you know what you're looking at. So again, on a Cobb County transcript, you are going to see a weighted and an unweighted GPA. That is a cumulative grade point average. So it is going to show you your grade point average, including every class you've taken since the beginning of 9th grade. So that's going to include health and personal fitness and weight training and your career and technology classes like culinary or JROTC, as well as your core classes in English, math, science, social studies, and world language. All of those classes go into your cumulative GPA. And then remember I said weighted and unweighted GPAs. So a weighted GPA gives you extra points for any honors or AP classes you have taken. So you will get an extra half quality point for any honors classes in your GPA calculation, and a full extra point for any AP classes. Like last year you may have taken AP Human Geography, this year you may be taking AP World History, so those classes will have that one extra quality point. And please remember that on your cumulative GPA, whether it's weighted or unweighted, it will include all grades whether you've passed or failed the class. So now let's talk about HOPE and the different types of HOPE, how your HOPE GPA is calculated, and what HOPE rigor means. So the HOPE scholarships are a family of scholarships that are funded by the Georgia Lottery. So every time somebody buys a lottery ticket, they are funding a scholarship. The first types of scholarships that we're going to talk about, the ZELL Miller Scholarship and the HOPE Scholarship, are ones that have academic GPA requirements. So the ZELL Miller Scholarship requires a 3.7 HOPE GPA as calculated by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. So that 3.7 is based on your grades in all English, math, science, social studies, and world language classes. It is not a cumulative GPA like the one we talked about on the last slide. This one is only based on English, math, science, social studies, and world language. It requires a 1200 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT in one sitting. Both of these things, this required GPA of 3.7 and the 1200 SAT or 26 ACT, must be earned by the end of high school. So you guys have plenty of time to earn these things if you can. You also have to earn a minimum of 4 Hope Rigor credits, which I will be talking about soon. This Zell Miller Scholarship will pay 100% tuition for public colleges and universities in the state of Georgia, so that can be a really great deal. And if you are the valedictorian or the salutatorian, it applies automatically to you, and then once you get to college, you have to maintain a 3.3 in order to keep it. But like I said, that is 100% tuition at public colleges and universities. Then the Hope Scholarship, which is the information on the right, that one requires a 3.0 Hope GPA. There is no test requirement for the regular Hope Scholarship. That one just requires you to have that 3.0 Hope GPA, again, only including English, math, science, social studies, and world language by the end of high school. And you also have to earn the minimum 4 rigor credits. This again is good for any public colleges and universities in the state of Georgia. You also have to be a resident of the state of Georgia for at least a year to earn either one of these scholarships. And the Hope Scholarship covers a portion. It's a very large portion of tuition. We don't know exactly how much because it's going to depend on lottery revenue from year to year, but it's somewhere usually between 80 and 90%. Again, I would encourage you to actually look from year to year at what that amount is. And if you want to do some more research on exactly what the Hope Scholarship amount would be, you can go to gafutures.org. That's gafutures.org. Create an account on there, and then you'll get access to a whole bunch of tools and a lot of information, and there is a way for you to look up how much that Hope Scholarship is worth at any school in the state of Georgia. Now, getting back to any school in the state of Georgia, I do want you to know that you can use the Zell Miller Scholarship and the Hope Scholarship at private colleges and universities in the state of Georgia. However, it will not be 100% or even 80% of tuition. It will be a flat amount of tuition that is much smaller. It is a much smaller percentage of tuition at public colleges and universities. And again, if you're interested in learning more about that exact dollar amount, I would look on gafutures.org and you'll be able to find that information. The Hope and the Zell Miller grants are also in that Hope Scholarship family, but they're a little bit different. If you are a person who maybe high school hasn't always gone exactly the way you want it to go, and maybe you don't have that 3.0 Hope GPA at the time that you leave high school, you can still get the Hope Grant. So the Hope Grant has no GPA requirement as long as you've been a resident of the state of Georgia for at least a year and you do certain financial aid forms, then you'll be able to use that Hope Grant. The difference with the Hope Grant from the Hope Scholarship is that you can only use the Hope Grant at technical colleges. So the local technical college that a lot of our students go to is Chattahoochee Tech. So you can start off at Chattahoochee Tech with that Hope Grant. It's going to cover a significant portion of your tuition at Chattahoochee Tech, which already starts off much cheaper than other schools, so it can be a really great deal. And then once you get there, if you earn a 3.0 GPA once you're in college, remember that your GPA starts over when you go to college. So your high school GPA ends at the end of high school, and then you start over when you start college. So if you earn a 3.0 or higher once you get to college and you transfer to a 4-year school, then you can earn that Hope Scholarship to take with you to a 4-year school once you're there. And going back to that previous slide about the Hope Scholarship, please remember that when you earn the Hope Scholarship at the end of your senior year, that is only good for 1 year. So you get that Hope Scholarship for 1 year. Every 30 credits in college, which is kind of like a full-time year of college, you will get to a Hope checkpoint. And again, they will check to see, do you have that 3.0 Hope GPA? Or in the case of Zell Miller, do you have a 3.3? If you have that 3.0 or 3.3 in the case of Zell Miller, then they will award you the Hope or the Zell Miller Scholarship for the following year. So it is a year-to-year thing. Again, your GPA starts over when you go to college. So if at the end of your 30 credits, of your first 30 credits in college, you have that 3.0, you can earn the Hope Scholarship for your second year. So again, let me just say that that Hope Grant is a great way to start off in college if you start off at a technical college and you earn some transfer credits that you can then take with you to a 4-year school. The Zell Miller Grant is even better than the Hope Grant. Once you get to a technical college, if you do very well and at the end of the semester you have a 3.5 or higher, then the Zell Miller Grant will allow the college to turn around and give you a refund of the tuition that wasn't already covered by the Hope Grant. So just as an example, if the Hope Grant covers 60% of your tuition and you have a 3.5 or higher once you get to college in any given semester, then you will earn that other 40% as a refund back at the end of the semester. So the Zell Miller Grant can be a really great thing. And again, you just have to be a resident of the state of Georgia for at least a year and fill out financial aid forms. And these grants, the Hope Grant and the Zell Miller Grant, can be used at technical colleges in the state of Georgia. None of these Hope scholarships will leave state lines. So you must stay in Georgia in order to use the Zell Miller Scholarship, the Hope Scholarship, the Hope Grant, or the Zell Miller Grant. Hope GPA. So let's talk about how you calculate the Hope GPA. All right, when you look at your Hope GPA, you'll see, and we'll talk about your Hope report in just a second, that it is an average of your core classes. So that's English, Math, Science, Social Studies, and World Language only. The thing about the Hope GPA is that it also includes any electives that are in those areas. So if you take psychology or sociology or current issues, those are social studies electives. If you take algebra support or geometry support, those are math electives. So anything that you take, yearbook, speech, they're English electives. Anything that you take in the areas of English, Math, Science, Social Studies, or World Language will go into that Hope GPA. Now, unfortunately, with the Hope GPA, you don't get any extra points, any weighted points for honors classes. You get 1/2 of a point for any advanced placement or dual enrollment credits on your Hope GPA, up to an A. No one can ever earn more than a 4.0 for any class, whether it's AP, honors, or on level, with the Hope GPA. This is because the Georgia Student Finance Commission is trying to level the playing field for students across the state of Georgia, and not everyone in Georgia is able to take advanced placement or dual enrollment classes. So that is why you can never earn more than 4 points. You don't get that extra 1/2 a point for an AP or a DE class on your Hope GPA. Which classes count toward Hope? This slide is just meant to give you a clue as to which classes will count towards your Hope GPA. So if you wanted to look on your Cobb County transcript, or if you wanted to look on your Hope report, which looks like this, you can see which classes start with numbers that qualify for Hope. So English, Math, Science, Social Studies, and World Language classes have distinctive 2-digit codes that they start off with. To the left of the title of the course on your Hope report or your Cobb County transcript, you can see course numbers. And right here on this slide, you can see the course numbers, the beginnings, that correspond with each of those subjects. So again, this just gives you a clue as to how you can tell whether that class is a Hope eligible class or not. Another thing that you can look at on your Hope report is on the left, you can see that there are asterisks next to the classes that do not count. So remember, that would be career and technology, or fine arts, or PE. Any of those courses are not going to count towards your Hope GPA. If you want to look at your Hope report at any time, as we've said before, you can create an account on gafutures.org and see that Hope report. If you look at the one that was sent in the mail, you can see that there are points. There's a total number of points in the lower right that shows you the total number of points that go into your HOPE GPA. If you look in the middle towards the left, you can see the total number of credits that you've earned towards your HOPE GPA. So if you take the total number of points on that bottom towards the right, and then you divide it by the total number of credits, you will get your HOPE GPA. HOPE rigor. This is a concept that a lot of people get confused about because they think that HOPE rigor must mean that you have to take an honors or an AP or a college class, but that is not the case. In order to be eligible for the HOPE scholarship, you have to have at least 4 rigor credits, and rigor credits are just college preparatory classes. So if you look on this list, most people take Algebra 2 in their 11th grade year. That is a rigor course. Most people take physics in their 11th grade year. That is a rigor course. Some people take chemistry in 10th grade or later. That is a rigor course. And then your 4th math, when you're a senior, if you take advanced math decision making or pre-calculus, those are also rigor courses. And any world language at the 2nd level or higher. So Spanish 2, French 2, Latin 2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4, French 3, French 4, Latin 3, Latin 4, AP classes, all of those count as rigor classes. So as you can see, just through your regular program, you will probably meet that HOPE rigor requirement without too much worry. All right, now let's talk a little bit about dual enrollment. So dual enrollment, as you can see on the slide, is a state-funded program that allows 11th and 12th graders to take college classes while they're completing their high school diploma. It's going to pay for 100% of tuition, all of your fees and required textbooks, up to a maximum cap of 30 hours. So after you have earned 30 hours, which is like 10 college classes usually, then you cap out and you can't take any more dual enrollment classes that are funded. But before that, you can take, like I said, up to 30 credits, which is like a full-time year of college. So it's a pretty great deal if it fits you, if it's right for you. So dual enrollment students can take approved courses in English, math, science, social studies, or world languages, and career tech classes. And the goal of dual enrollment is to increase college access and completion and get kids ready to either go into the workforce or go to a 4-year college. The thing about dual enrollment is that you have to make sure that it's really right for you. So some people really are ready to just kind of leave high school and get started with college. If that's you and you want to go and take a college class, dual enrollment is a great idea for you. Please remember that that means that you're likely going to be sitting in a classroom with other college students of varying ages. So you may have a 35-year-old next to you, or a 25-year-old, or an 18-year-old. You just don't know. There are some online dual enrollment classes, but they can be kind of tricky, so it's really great if you can do them in person. So you have to think about how a college class is going to feel different from a high school class. Also, it's a lot more independent. So your professors are not necessarily going to tell you, when your assignments, they're not going to keep reminding you when your assignments are due. You're going to need to know that and follow along in their syllabus. And it is possible that your grades may only be based on like 3 tests and a final. So it's a whole different thing, and you really have to be ready for the independence. You also have to be able to get yourself there. You have to provide transportation. So that's important to know, because if you don't have somebody who can drive you there, and if you don't have a car, it may not be a good option for you. So you really have to think about all of these things. Some people do dual enrollment part-time, which means they take some elective classes at Allatoona, and they take mostly their core classes in college. You just have to be aware with that it's kind of a logistical challenge, and sometimes there are issues with, your classes matching up and being able to take the classes you want at Allatoona, and then also scheduling your college classes. And then also, if you are a person who does extracurriculars, so you're in clubs or sports, you can certainly still do that if you're doing dual enrollment. You just need to know that scheduling-wise, it might be tricky. You have to give yourself enough time to get to the college, if that's where you're going, and park and get to class, or on the other hand, get back to Allatoona from your college class in time for your practices. So you have to make sure that you're scheduling classes that don't conflict with those opportunities at Allatoona. So you just have to be sure that it's right for you. And the way to do some research on that is to go ahead and go to the Allatoona website. So if you can either use this URL that you see down here, this allatoonacounseling.weebly.com, or again, as I said in an earlier slide, you can go to the Allatoona website and then go to menu and then about and then counseling and then dual enrollment. And there you'll see a whole bunch of information. On that front page, you'll see 2 videos that you need to watch. One is about dual enrollment in Cobb County. The other one is specific to Allatoona, so you'll need to watch those. And then you can also look at all the different pages, all of the different links that we have on that counseling dual enrollment page. There is one of the pages there, one of the sections of that dual enrollment page will link you to all of the different colleges that our kids typically do dual enrollment with, like Kennesaw State and Chattahoochee Tech. You'll need to look at those colleges, those specific colleges' information pages, so that you can see what the application process looks like there. So, just to recap, you need to look at the Allatoona and Cobb County information so that you know what we're going to require of you and what our deadlines are. And then you also need to look at the college information so that you know what those deadlines are and what that application process looks like. You might need to take a standardized test like the SAT or the ACT, and that would have to happen before the college's deadline. You might have to take a test called the AccuPlacer, and again, that would have to happen before the college's deadline. So you want to make sure that you're planning well in advance for this. So again, to sum up, you want to go to that Allatoona counseling page, watch those videos, look at the information for the specific colleges that you're interested in. Then you want to go ahead and apply. Take whatever standardized tests you need to take. After you've done all that and you follow the steps on the checklist that is available on that counseling dual enrollment page, then you're going to want to contact a dual enrollment counselor here at Allatoona. That's Miss Neely if it's a 2-year school like Chattahoochee Tech, and it's Miss Rohrbach if it's a 4-year school like Kennesaw State. After you've done all of those other steps, then you're going to contact one of those counselors to schedule an appointment. So dual enrollment can be really great. Dual enrollment can be really great if it's right for you. Just remember all of those questions that we talked about in the last slide. Also, remember to research the colleges that you might want to attend after you finish high school, because dual enrollment is going to allow you to earn college credit while you're in high school, but it's a separate issue to see whether the credits that you're earning through dual enrollment will transfer with you to a 4-year college where you might want to go. So you always also want to be doing research on that dream school that you might want to attend after you finish high school to make sure that those dual enrollment credits are going to transfer. A tool that you can use to do this is GA Tracks. GA Tracks is available on the GA Futures website that we talked about a couple of slides ago. So again, if you go to gafutures.org and you create an account there, remember that's where your HOPE information lives, you can see this GA Tracks tool, and that will allow you to see how classes that you take at one college or university in the state of Georgia might transfer to another college or university in the state of Georgia. So we encourage you to check into that as well to make sure that your dual enrollment credits will actually transfer in a way that benefits you. One more thing to know about dual enrollment is that those college calendars are sometimes different from the Cobb County calendar. So if you are a person who likes to go away on fall break or on the school vacations, know that that might be difficult or impossible to do if your college calendar is different from the Cobb County calendar. So just be aware of that. Moving on, the next thing we want to talk about is NAVIANCE. So Naviance is a college and career search engine that is very powerful because it gives you all kinds of tools that will allow you to plan for your future. It's also the way we communicate with you. We really want to be able to send you emails and send you all kinds of information, and we use your Naviance email to do that. The next part of our lesson here has to do with you getting into Naviance. So if you will go ahead and split your screen right now while you're watching me on this PowerPoint and open up another screen where you can go to the Allatoona website, and there is the URL right there in front of you, which you already know because you're here. Anyway, go back to that main page, go to Find It Fast, which is in the upper right, and then you'll see a drop-down menu. On that drop-down menu in the middle on the right-hand column is the word Naviance. So go ahead and click on that word Naviance. If you are logged into the network already, then hopefully once you click on Naviance, it will bring you right to your personal Naviance account. If for any reason you are not logged into the network and you get to a screen that asks you to sign in with a username and password, then know that that is going to be that username and password that you use to get into the system. You can look for that username and password information on your student view, and it is going to be your first name dot last name at students.cobbk12.org. Some of you may have a random number in there as well, so go to Student View and make sure that you know what your Cobb K-12 email address is. That's the one that you're going to use for your username. Your password is going to be whatever password you have developed to get into the network. So this would be the way that you can get into Naviance if you're not already on the network. Once you get into Naviance, you will see a page, a home page that looks like this, except it will say your name on it. So hopefully you're all there. Once you get to that page, you might notice in the upper right-hand corner, there is a word, a little slogan there that says About Me. It's a link. So please go ahead and click on that, and then click on My Account. And then click on the pencil icon that's in the contact information box and go ahead and correct your email address. So we want you to have the email address that you use every day in there. So if you have a Gmail or an iCloud email or something else like that, we want you to go ahead and put that email address in your Naviance account so that we can always send you the information that you need. After you've done that, go ahead and click Save. Please feel free to pause this while you go ahead and do that. Please know that you can use Naviance for all of the different things you see on this slide. So again, like I said earlier, you can use it for college and career planning. So you can do research on all kinds of different careers that you might be interested in, or all kinds of different colleges that you might be interested in. You can watch interviews with people on Road Trip Nation, which is a part of Naviance. So if you want to see what a person in a particular career does, then you can watch that interview. You can build a resume on there. So if you're a person who's trying to get a job, maybe because you need to pay for your car insurance or buy a new cell phone, then you can use that resume builder, plug in your information, and Naviance will format a resume for you that you can then print out. You can also do scholarship searches on there. And you can take all kinds of different assessments on here, which we're about to talk about in a minute. And also you can use it to communicate with us. So you can either email us directly or you can try emailing us through Naviance. Either one of those ways will work. And you can see what college visits are coming. There are all kinds of things that you can do on Naviance. So my advice to you about Naviance would be go ahead and click around in there. Just look around and do some research, mess around. You're not going to break anything, but there are a lot of tools that might really help you with your planning. So now we're going to get to the bridge law portion of the lesson, which this is where we really need you. The state requires you to do certain things in each grade level. So for our purposes today, the first thing we're going to do is take a very easy dual enrollment survey. So if you will look at your screen and go to My Planner on the upper right, and then click Tasks once you get to the drop-down. Feel free to pause this while you do that. Then you're going to do these next steps. Scroll down to Important To-Dos and Tasks. Select the 10th grade dual enrollment survey. Select Take This Survey on the right side of your screen to begin the survey. You may have to click on a little pink diamond that says Take Survey next to it in order to actually get the survey to work. The survey is one question, so go ahead and answer that question in your words, and then click Save and Finish, and you will be done with that step. Now that you've finished that, the next thing you're going to do is the Career Interest Profiler. So I'm just going to go through it with you and show you what the steps will look like, and then you guys can go ahead and do this on your own and turn off the PowerPoint. So first, let me go through the steps with you. Again, you're going to scroll down to Important To-Dos and Tasks. You're going to click Complete Career Interest Profiler. Then you're going to click again, Complete the Career Interest Profiler on the right side of the screen. You will look for the pink diamond with a white arrow. Click on that, and then click Start. So that is going to look like this. Starting from My Planner, Important To-Dos and Tasks, and then clicking on Complete Career Interest Profiler. From there, you're going to click on this pink diamond to complete the Career Interest Profiler. Once you've finished with your Career Interest Profiler, you're going to get a set of results that look like this, and they show you which areas you have answered the most questions in, which aspects of your personality come out the most when you're answering that Career Interest Profiler. So it's kind of interesting to see how many questions you answered in the social area or the investigative area or artistic, for example. Once you look at this slide, then you can click on the bottom at the blue circle there where it says View Matching Careers. Once you do that, you'll see all kinds of career information and a list of careers. So you want to explore all of that, click on careers that look interesting to you, and when you find some careers that look interesting to you, then you want to go ahead and click on the favorite. So you can see under neuropsychologists and clinical neuropsychologists on this slide, the word favorite and then a heart next to it. So we need you to save or heart or favorite 3 careers that are particularly interesting to you. So that is going to be the last thing that you need to do today. After you do that Career Interest Profiler and you look at all the careers, you find 3 that you like and then click the heart that says favorite. If you can't find any careers that you like, but you have your heart set on something, like for instance, you know you want to be an architect, then try typing architect into the search bar and just try to find information on that career, and then you can go ahead and click the heart under architect. Once you've saved at least 3 careers, and you can save as many as you want by clicking the heart, then you'll see that they will show up in your NAVIANCE account so that the next time you go into NAVIANCE account, you can see them again. So that's just an example of what your screen is going to look like. Thank you so much for being a part of this with us, and I hope that you'll go and you'll do that Career Interest Profiler. If for any reason the directions that we gave you for NAVIANCE were confusing, you'll see that next to where you found this PowerPoint, there's also a list of NAVIANCE directions. If you look at it as a PDF, it looks like this. And this will help you also to do the NAVIANCE activities. So again, that is an attachment that's right next to this PowerPoint on the website. If you have any questions, you can always follow the directions there. Remember that your counselors are here to help you. And again, thanks so much for joining us.